Okay, we're going to give it a shot and go live today. Man, you got to be in a better mood if you're a Jaguars fan. But last week, the Jaguars had a 29 to 10 lead. This week, they've got a 14 to 6 lead in the third quarter. ETN took a direct snap and scored a touchdown in the first half. The Jags did what we thought they needed to do, was get some pressure on Herbert, and he came out of the game in the second quarter, kind of got banged up a little bit. We'll see if he comes back. Jaguars with a football. And now we're seeing a nice complete pass down the field. Was that Jacoby? Jacoby Myers with a catch. Man, this guy's paying dividends already. Number 3 for the Jaguars. Now we're live almost a minute in. Jacksonville Jaguars with a 14 to 6 lead in the third quarter. Boy, it was a nice catch by Myers as I kind of look at a replay of it on the screen. Trevor Lawrence hung in the pocket, got good protection that time, and that's what he's got to have. The Chargers have been known as a good pass rushing team, so let's see if the offensive line can hold up. Maybe the Jags can mix the run and the pass here in the second half. There's a little pitch to ETN, but not much there, maybe a yard. And we're in the third quarter. Jacksonville Jaguars 14, the LA Chargers 6. You guys are welcome to come in. Hey, who will the new Florida Gator head football coach be? Hopefully we'll find out something. Well, we might not find out anything today. This may be something that is negotiated out. And a lot of times we had told you it's probably going to be at the end of the season, like toward the end of the regular season, maybe the last week in November. Around Thanksgiving, we'll get our turkey with the new Florida Gator head football coach. Florida State won their game, and all of a sudden, Mike Norvell's team's 5-5. Nice pass by Trevor, right on the money. And I can never understand the people in social media that get so down on Trevor. Patrick, number 17, with a catch. And the Jaguars offense is moving today on Sunday, November the 16th. Jaguars with a 14 to 6 lead. They had a good first half. They got the ball right now in the lead. And the O-line is kind of holding up pretty good right now for Trevor Lawrence. That's a great thing. Every week you play a different team, so you never know. Lawrence is going to hand the ball to ETN. He scoots for, probably 2 or 3 yards up the middle, and it looks like the Jaguars have a second down and goal. And we appreciate you guys coming in. Hey, give us a comment. Will the Jaguars hang on today? They didn't do it last week. Man, the Jags were winning 29 to 10 last week. This week, not as big a lead, but a nice 8-point lead in the third quarter. Give us your comments. Hey, where's Lane Kiffin going? Is he going to take the Gator job, the LSU job, the Auburn job? Will he stay at Ole Miss? What's your opinion? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up today. And we're keeping up with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can see obviously the score on the screen. Jaguars with a 14 to 6 lead over the LA Chargers in the third quarter. Anything you want to know, hey, you're welcome to ask. Is that another penalty out there? The Jags got second and goal coming up. Liam Cohen looks like he's trying to come up with a play on the sidelines with second down and goal coming up. We appreciate you guys that are tuned in with us. Please subscribe to the channel. We'd be grateful and happy. And again, thank you for being here on the live stream. This is by the way, I'm Scott, your host for the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. Man, seen as many as a handful of people in here already. So we appreciate you tuning in. Jacksonville Jaguars 14, the LA Chargers 6. Teal Shirt Report podcast brought to you by Saucer Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida. Also by the MadMaxMix.weebly.com. And ETN got gobbled up around the 5-yard line on second down and goal. Jaguars with a 14 to 6 lead, but now you got third down coming up. And this is where Trevor Lawrence has got to earn his money, as well as the head coach, Liam Cohen. 8 minutes, 20 seconds to go here in the third quarter. We're doing a live stream during the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. We've already got people that are coming in. You got any comments? please let us know. Trevor Lawrence, third down. The ball's at about the 6-yard line of the Chargers. Jaguars with a 14-6 lead. And Trevor throws it in the back of the end zone, intended for Patrick. What's that kid's name? Tim Patrick. Is that correct? And the flag flew. It looked like we might have got a pass interference. And if you get pass interference, now you got a first down. You got a first down inside the 5. Where do they put the ball down, on the 1 or the 2, right? We'll see where they set it. But the Jags had 3 wide receivers out to the left side that time. Jacoby Myers was in there, Parker Washington. The pass went kind of toward the back of the end zone near the cone. It was a little bit overthrown by the outstretched arms of Patrick, but they said he was interfered with. And right now, the Jags having a good day at home, 14-6. This is looking deja vu like the lead last week. We're in the third quarter. Trevor's going to take it right up the middle and score. So if you got Trevor Lawrence on your fantasy team, he just got you a touchdown. And thank God Trevor didn't try to take the ball and just hold it over the goal line. He ran it in there like a running back that time. I like that. The Jaguars are up 20-6. It's going to be about holding the league today. And we'll check some other scores around the National Football League as well. This is a lot of fun today. It's always fun when you have a lead. The Jags are 5-4 on the 2025 season. We'll go around the NFL. Looks like the Dolphins won in overtime over the Commanders. I believe that was the early morning game, which is usually played in Europe somewhere. Trevor Lawrence looks like he's having a pretty good game today. And again, as I mentioned, we'll run down some scores. Right now, the Jags have the Jaguars, your Jacksonville Jaguars have a 20-6 lead. Now, last week, I didn't see the extra point kicked. I walked outside and all of a sudden that point came off the board and they went for 2 and didn't make it. I was really surprised at that. Let's kick these extra points this week. So we're in a live stream on the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. Glad to have you guys in here with us. We'll check some other scores. Jaguars are leading right now 20-6. I did not see the extra point, and that's on me. We'll take a look at the scoreboard here in a moment. Again, the Dolphins beat the Commanders in overtime. A lot of inactives across the NFL, about 11 inactives. Players ruled out for Sunday's 13 games today on Sunday. And the Jaguars winning today. Absolutely winning today. Heck, they were winning last week, 29-10. And then they got outscored 26-0 in the fourth quarter. That was, 26-0. That's terrible. But, there was a last play of the game where Trevor lost control of the football and they scored the Texans scored a cheap touchdown late in the game when the Jaguars were actually only trailing by 1 point. But all the 3 and outs in the fourth quarter last week killed the Jacksonville Jaguars in their loss against the Houston Texans, 36-29. Please subscribe to the channel. Give us a like, a thumbs up. We'll keep you up to date with the National Football League right now during our live stream. Halftime, Pittsburgh is leading Cincinnati 10-6. What about the Atlanta Falcons, man? Sometimes they play great and sometimes they don't. The Atlanta Falcons 21, the Carolina Panthers 10. That's in the third quarter. Buffalo Bills battling Tampa Bay. That's a pretty good game. Halftime, Buffalo Bills 21. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20. Jacksonville Jaguars did add the extra point. I think I missed the kick. Boy, I missed the kick last week, and they didn't even kick it. They went for 2. And I couldn't believe that. But the Jacksonville Jaguars kicked the extra point this week. They lead 21-6 at home at Everbank Stadium. And now the Jags and Cam Little, the guy with the big leg, is kicking off. And the Jags are going to be on defense. So far, so good today. But we still got a fourth quarter to play. Chargers returning a kick. And Cam Little kicks it pretty good. He keeps it in play, gives the guy a chance to return it, but you don't want him to return it too far. Looks like the Chargers are going to start shy of the 30-yard line, around the 28-yard line. There was a big hit on Herbert by number 95. Man, I love that hit by Green. Finally, some pressure on the quarterback. Let's see, number 10 is in the game now for the LA Chargers, playing quarterback. The Chargers got 3 receivers in there, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. That's number 10 in there right now. It looks like they're going to hand it off there. And right now, the Jaguars with a 21-6 lead. Chargers get a couple of yards on that play. So thank you for joining us for the live stream. I'm Scott, your host for the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We're always around. Most all the time. We cover the Jacksonville Jaguars, North Florida entertainment, and more. SEC football, man, Texas A&M still undefeated. Florida's looking for a new coach. Jaguars got the quarterback under pressure, and he's going to throw it out. Is that McConkey that caught it, I believe? McConkey wears 15. He caught about a 5-yard pass out to the right side. So the good news is the Jacksonville Jaguars with a 21-6 lead. And we're just live streaming. I'm watching the monitor. Chargers in those cool looking gold pants, white jerseys, powder blue numbers. Josh Hines Allen is in the game right now. Is this third down? 3rd down and 8 for the Chargers. This is a big play for the Jaguars defense. Now I think the Chargers might have called timeout here on 3rd down. Kind of talk it over. Jim Harbaugh, of course, is what's Jim? This is Jim's 2nd year as a head coach of the LA Chargers, I believe. Bears got Minnesota in a low-scoring defensive struggle. Chicago Bears 10, Minnesota Vikings 3. Ben Johnson is the head coach at Chicago, and they're playing better football the last few weeks. Green Bay and the New York Giants tied 13-13. How about the Steelers? Steelers playing some defense today. 10-6. Steelers lead the Bengals. Pittsburgh 10, Bengals 6. That, my friends, is in the 3rd quarter. And we're streaming it live. I've got to change the scoreboard. We'll change the scoreboard here in a minute. Let's see if I can edit that. You never know what you can do on YouTube till you start trying. There's an incompleted pass on 3rd down. Ball might have got loose. They could call it a fumble or an incomplete pass. I think it's going to be an incomplete pass. Let's see what the officials call. You never know what they may call. The Jaguars are pointing the other way like they got a fumble, like they recovered a long fumble, but I think they're going to call it an incomplete pass. And let me see, an absolute 4th down. Okay. So we got the score up there. And yes, sir, YouTube. I've only been on YouTube for a little over a year. We've done the audio version of the podcast for about 6 years, actually. Jags with a 21-6 lead, so we'll try to just kind of edit the scoreboard and put it back up. See if we can get the scoreboard back up there in a moment. Chargers punting to the Jaguars. The Jags got the lead. 21-6. Punt takes a Charger roll. Is going to roll inside the 10, inside the 5, and I think the Chargers downed it on about the 1-yard line. Let's see if okay. See if we can add the try to add the score up there. Give me a moment here. Okay. I mean, I can tell you the Jacksonville Jaguars lead 21-6. Man, we do appreciate you guys tuning in for our live stream. I'm Scott. This is the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. We've had a lot of people coming in and out, checking us out. Please subscribe to the channel if you would. We would be grateful and happy, and give us a thumbs up. Jaguars again with a 21-6 lead. Big J Report SEC Power Rankings, college football top 5. Texas A&M number 1. They're number 1 in the SEC. You got Georgia number 2, Ole Miss 3. Will Lane Kiffin stay at Ole Miss, or will he take one of about a handful of jobs that he probably will have a shot at. Ole Miss is third in the SEC at 10-1. Alabama fourth at 8-2. Oklahoma is fifth at 8-2, but they got 2 conference losses. That's why we've got Alabama ahead of Oklahoma. Although Oklahoma did beat Alabama on Saturday, 23-21. So let's see. Did we get the right score? Let's see if we can get the score back up there. There we go. We got the score up. Jacksonville Jaguars 21. The LA Chargers 6, still in the third quarter. We'll take you around the NFL. Now, one thing that happens after the live stream is over, you can still access kind of what was going on today in the National Football League through the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. It's November 16th, Sunday, November the 16th of 2025, around the National Football League. Pittsburgh with a 10-6 lead over Cincinnati. Tennessee's leading Houston 6-0. How about that? Buffalo 21, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20. That third quarter is now underway. And again, the Jacksonville Jaguars with a 21-6 lead. We check North Florida Entertainment. Jacksonville Icemen are 7-5 on the season. Concerts coming up. JC, our executive producer, wanted to tell JC that Foreigner will be in concert in St. Augustine, and that's going to be in April. And the cool thing about it is, and they're looking at a replay now on the last punt, did anybody touch that football? Jaguars lead 21-6. Foreigner with Luke Graham and Night Ranger will be at the St. Augustine Amphitheater in St. Augustine, Florida on Friday night, April the 17th of 2026 at 7:30 p.m. You can check other shows, concerts for our area. Go to bigjreport.com, click on the Neighbors 2 section. You know, on our internet newspaper magazine, you basically can click around. I think we have about 7 pages up there. News, sports, more sports, weather. And got a nice day in Jacksonville. High temperatures getting up to around, and that's where the game's being played at Everbank Stadium. High temperatures getting up to around 78, 79 degrees. Other scores, it looks like Cincinnati's kicked a field goal. Pittsburgh 10, Cincinnati 9. That game is actually in the third quarter. We appreciate you guys checking out our live stream. Jaguars trying to move the football again with a 21-6 lead. Brayshaw Tootin at ETN, they've been a 1-2 punch. I'm looking at number 33, Tootin, on some highlights. He's made some nice runs in this football game, including scoring a touchdown. So Tootin and ETN both have the touchdowns. ETN scored on a direct snap. Trevor Lawrence has scored a touchdown today as well. And the Jaguars have a 21-6 lead. So maybe last week was a learning experience. The offense has got to put this game away today. Trevor getting some protection. He throws a long pass up in the air, but De'Ami Brown was in the vicinity, but the ball went over his head, was really closer to the Charger defensive back. And here we are, Jacksonville Jaguars 21, LA Chargers 6, third quarter. Man, we appreciate you guys checking out our live stream from the Teal Shirt Report podcast. The Teal Shirt Report podcast from bigjreport.com. I want to thank you guys for being here. We got a few people in here right now. So if you would subscribe to the channel, you'll always be able to find the content, whether we're talking about the Jaguars, North Florida Entertainment, the SEC, Florida Gators. Florida State won their 5th game by beating Virginia Tech yesterday on Saturday. And Trevor just hit a big play on 2nd down and 10. This guy is paying dividends. I got to give some credit now. I got to give some credit to the general manager. You know, he's under fire, making trades, making draft picks. I've given him a lot of heck too. Jacoby made the catch on that last play, and he got a first down. And then the Jags come back with Morris, number 80, who just made a catch. Trevor's getting rid of the football quick. It looks like the Jaguar offensive line is giving him some protection today. The Jags have the lead, 3:48 to play here in the third quarter. We'll check other scores. North Florida Entertainment, a lot of things coming up. Molly Hatchet will be in concert at the where they going to be? Ponte Vedra, right? At the well, you can go to Neighbors 2 section at bigjreport.com. It's a concert hall in Ponte Vedra is where Molly Hatchet will be in just a few days here at the end of November. I understand there's no original members left at Molly Hatchet, but some of the guys that are in that group have been there for a number of years. They just are not the original members of Molly Hatchet, but they will be in concert here in just a few days. Jaguars, I saw a little note here. Jaguars, most drops, 31, Broncos 24, Browns 19, LA Chargers 18. That is quite a difference. 31 total drops by the Jaguars receiving core. That doesn't make things easy for your quarterback. But today it looks like he's playing pretty well. He just handed the ball to ETN. ETN short of a first down, but got a yard or two. Jaguars going to try to knock down some first downs. They've got a 21-6 lead. We're getting later in the third quarter now. The Jacksonville Jaguars with a 21-6 lead over the LA Chargers. And, man, we're on this live stream, and I look out the window here in Jacksonville, sunshine. We got a little breeze kicking up outside. You can also find our weather information at bigjreport.com on the homepage. So check that out as well at bigjreport.com. Jaguars going to run the ball up the middle, and that looks like a big first down by Tootin. Just kept moving. Brayshaw Tootin running for about 5, 6, 7 yards and gets a first down, and you want to see more of that. You want to control the clock. The offense needs to take control of the game and put this game away like really I think they should have done last week. Brayshaw Tootin, number 33, another great run. I've seen some highlights. He's had at least 3 of these really good runs today, running behind the offensive line. Looked like Walker Little was just kind of almost in the way there. Maybe that's what you need to do. He kept the defenders away, too. Here's a pitch, and the look at Bruce Shell keeps moving about 3 or 4 yards on the left side, and the Jags are trying to make a statement, trying to run the football. Subscribe to our channel. You're absolutely tuned into the Teal Shirt Report podcast from bigjreport.com. Go to our website, Neighbors 2 section. We got a concert listing in there. We want to thank our sponsors who make all this possible. Saucer Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida, whether it's home, residential, business, or commercial estate. Saucer Realty and Capital. A link to their site is on our homepage. Scroll till you get to the North Florida weather, and you'll find the link for Saucer Realty and Capital. Steady diet of Brayshaw Tootin. He got about a yard or a half a yard on the last play. So now you got, it looks like a third down coming up. And Liam, I think Liam likes a little bit more about what he's seeing today. You get beat like the Jaguars did last week, and you got to regroup, and it looks like the Jags have done that. They got a 21-6 lead at home. Last week, the game was in Houston, a little tougher on the road. Trevor's in a shotgun on this next play. Looks like a 4-man front by the LA Chargers, 3 linebackers in there, kind of a standard kind of defense. And now I think maybe somebody's called timeout. Perhaps the Jaguars didn't like what they saw and they called timeout. And Trevor Lawrence has scored a touchdown. Brayshaw Tootin has scored a touchdown. And ETN earlier in the game, back in the first half, took a direct snap and scored on a touchdown play as well. And the Jaguars do have a 21-6 lead. Who will the next Florida Gator football head coach be? Everybody wants Lane Kiffin. LSU wants Kiffin. He seems to be like the leading guy, but it's going to be a lot of money. You know the guy that I want? He's not even in Division I. Kerwin Bell, former University of Florida Gator quarterback back in the late 1980s. I know one year Kerwin went 9-1-1 with the Florida Gators. He's coached and won everywhere he's ever coached in basically lower divisions. He's won at JU. He won a national championship at Valdosta State. And he's winning at Western Carolina. He might be the first coach that's ever really consistently won at Western Carolina for the Catamounts. He's a long shot. And I know that, but man, he's a sentimental choice. Former Florida Gator quarterback, played at Florida in the late 80s. He's an older guy, but don't discriminate against the older guys. Look what the coach at Indiana's doing, and Kerwin Bell is younger than him. The guy at Indiana, Signetti, he hasn't even been there 2 years yet, and he's going to have his Indiana Hoosiers in the playoffs, in the college football playoff, 2 years in a row now. Amazing. You're right. The scoreboard is the Jacksonville Jaguars 21, the LA Chargers 6. Take a look at some other scores across the NFL now. Chicago Bears. And, Ben Johnson, the head coach, they're starting to get things together. They're playing better. They're playing better football now. Chicago Bears 13. Minnesota Vikings 3. Atlanta Falcons. Looks like Carolina's closed, got a little closer to them, kind of closed their lead a little bit. We know about leads getting closed from last week, right? Atlanta Falcons 21, Carolina Panthers 16. That game in the third quarter. Buffalo Bills still up. Buffalo Bills 21, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20. That is in the third quarter. We appreciate you guys tuning in to the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. This is our YouTube channel. We also have the audio version of the podcast as well. But now the fourth quarter gets underway, and the Jaguars with a 21-6 lead and the football. Pittsburgh Steelers 10, Cincinnati Bengals 9, game in the third quarter. We'll keep you up to date, and we appreciate you guys tuning in to the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Pass out to De'Ami Brown. No, that was Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers again. He's only been on the team for 2 weeks since the general manager, Gladstone, made the traded a couple of draft picks. I think what was it, a fourth? Was it a fourth and a sixth round pick, and got Jacoby Myers, a guy that, why did the Jaguars get him? A guy that could catch the ball and not drop it. A little bit like a Christian Kirk signing a few years ago, I think. Just if I had to make a comparison, that's what I might say. The Jaguars got the ball at the Chargers' 12-yard line. Brayshaw Tootin runs it up the middle, got about 4 yards, and the Jaguars trying to control the clock a little bit. We're now in the fourth quarter. Now, absolutely in the fourth quarter of this game. So you know what that means I got to do? I got to edit the score up there because, we're in the fourth quarter now. Jaguars with a commanding. Well, we thought last week it was commanding, right? Didn't we think last week was commanding? However, we know what happened last week. The Jags blew a 29-10, 19-point lead in the fourth quarter with 3 and outs throughout the entire fourth quarter. So let's get the scroll back out there. We're now in the fourth quarter. I'm getting a little handier editing. Jacksonville Jaguars 21, LA Chargers 6. We are absolutely in the fourth quarter. Thank you guys for tuning in. Got some folks tuned in. Give me some comments. What do you think? Florida Gators, who are they going to hire? Where? Maybe this is the better question. Where will Lane Kiffin end up? Will he go back to Ole Miss? Will he grab a job at LSU? Brian Kelly, the guy who last coached there, he's trying to get his buyout money. They've been fighting over his buyout money, right? My goodness. Just too much money, too much greed, too much money in these contracts. And, like I say, I think if Florida somehow can get Lane Kiffin, a guy that, honestly, I have to say in behalf of Lane Kiffin, a couple of things. He's won like 50 games over the last 5 years, so he's averaging close to 10 wins in a season. This team he had this year at Ole Miss, and what are they? They're 10-1, right? Ole Miss is actually 10-1. They're actually third in our SEC, our BigJReport.com SEC power rankings, but you got Texas A&M at 10-0, Georgia 9-1. Georgia beat Ole Miss. That was their only blemish. Ole Miss is 10-1. Bama's fourth at 8-2. Oklahoma's fifth at 8-2. on the bubble. You got Vandy, Texas, Missouri, and Tennessee. Those are the kind of those are basically the bubble teams after the top 5 SEC from the BigJReport.com SEC power rankings. Where will Lane Kiffin go? There's openings. And then you saw what happened. South Carolina blew a big lead. Texas A&M came back, stayed undefeated. And now, as I understand it, the South Carolina coach has absolutely been fired now. Jacksonville Jaguars 21, LA Chargers 6 in the fourth quarter. Brayshaw Tootin has been getting a heavy load of work. And it took about three Chargers to bring him down on that last play. Jaguars with a 21-6 lead, a second down and 5 coming up. And ETN takes a handoff. He's going to go down near the 2-yard line, trying to squirm down to the 1. Looks like the 2, actually. Jaguars needed another touchdown to put this thing away. But never say never, because they thought they had it put away last week with a 29-10 lead. What were they doing going for 2 points last week? I couldn't believe that. They just kick it. You got your 30th point. I didn't like that last week. ETN did manage to get a yard or 2 on that last play, right at 2 yards, it looks like. The Jags have 3rd down and 1. See, Ezra Cleveland's in the game at left guard. Let's see. They're going to give it to ETN. ETN fighting for the end zone. Did he get in? He was close. Looks like he got short of the goal line, but I think he got the first down. Jags are going to end up with a first down and goal, and that keeps the clock running with under 13 minutes to play in this one. Jags in all teal jerseys, teal pants, the black and gold helmets. Yeah, he was just shy of the goal line that time. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Where will Lane Kiffin go? If Lane Kiffin doesn't go to Florida, who will the Florida Gators get for their new head football coach? My goodness. Jaguars 21, Chargers 6. We are absolutely in the fourth quarter. Thank you guys for tuning in. Now we may have a timeout here, but it is 1st and goal. There's some sort of timeout. Maybe the Chargers have called timeout. 1st down and goal. We'll check some other scores. Houston has gone out in front of Tennessee. Houston 7, Tennessee 6. That's in the third quarter. Pittsburgh 13, Cincinnati 9. Pittsburgh Steelers 13, Cincinnati 9 in the third quarter. Got the New York Giants out in front of Green Bay. Who's going to be the New York Giants' new coach? They just fired Dabo, right? Could Lane Kiffin reunite with Jason Dart with the New York Giants? That's what our executive producer told me. He thinks could possibly happen with Lane Kiffin maybe going back to the NFL. Been a long time since Lane Kiffin coached in the NFL, though. We're in the fourth quarter. Jags trying to, at least this week, trying to put a big lead and put the game away early. ETN just got shut down. Just got shut down. It looked like he lost a half a yard back to outside the 1 yard line. Got 2nd and goal coming up. Jaguars need a touchdown desperately. And I say desperately, but they got a 21-6 lead, but you got to put the game away, right? Looks like the Chargers getting some changes in on defense, bringing in the goal line defense. Some big boy just went out for the Chargers, number 89. Jim Harbaugh is their coach. He's putting some players in there. Let's see if Trevor Lawrence tries to just run it in himself with a 21-6 lead. He's going to fake it. He's going to throw it into the end zone. It's going to be caught. Patrick for the touchdown. Jaguars lulled everybody to sleep, and Liam Cohen called a fake handoff, and Trevor threw it to a wide-open Patrick, and the Jaguars got to feel good. Got to feel good. 27-6 lead. Please, by all means, kick the extra point. So, Jaguars now have a 21-point lead in this game. And Trevor actually was not a fake handoff. It was like a fake pitch to the right to ETN. He extended his left hand. Then he just kind of threw a little pop pass to the back of the end zone, and Patrick caught it for the touchdown. Little adds the extra point. Cam Little, it looked like he hit the goalpost, but it bounced back in. And the crowd looks extremely happy here in Jacksonville because the Jags have just scored a touchdown and now lead by the score of 28-6. Can you believe it? Thank you guys for being here, by the way. We've got our scene of the skyline in Jacksonville in the background. We love our city. I've lived other places, but I'm originally from Jacksonville, moved back here about 12 years ago, and I'm just happy the Jaguars have got a lead today. They had a lead last week, but you got to hang on. You got to put a team away. So we have a BigJReport.com Facebook group as well. So we're going to update the score in that as well. But we're already in. Can you believe it? Already in the fourth quarter, and the Jaguars are in a very similar place that they were last week. However, on the last drive, it was not third down. It was not 3 and out. Jaguars scored a touchdown. They got the lead, and we're live streaming. This is the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. Fourth quarter, Jacksonville Jaguars with a 28-6 lead. Jags have been putting up some points today, and we'll have to edit the scoreboard we got up there. Let me see here. 28-6. The Jacksonville Jaguars are leading. Give me your comments. What do you think about college football, actually? Because college football is full of now a bunch of coaches that have been fired. It's been a long time since this many coaches have been fired. LSU's looking for a new coach. Auburn's looking for a new coach. Florida Gators looking for a new coach. South Carolina, I understand. I don't know all the details, but apparently they blew a big lead. That'll get you out of there, won't it? And South Carolina's only won like 3 games this year. And a lot of people thought South Carolina would actually do a lot better. Early in the year, it was thought that South Carolina could be a top 5 SEC team or on the bubble, and they've not been either. So it's been very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. We're going to update the scoreboard. Jags now leading. Can you believe it? Jacksonville Jaguars are now leading in this one 28-6. Thank goodness they're kicking the extra points. Although that last extra point kind of grazed the crossbar, but went through and was good. Jaguars lead 28-6 in the fourth quarter. So we have to really give some props to the defense today. Only 6 points, but it's a combination of things. The O-line seems to be playing well. There's been some pressure on the quarterback for the Chargers. Although he came back in the game, he got hurt. It looked like Josh Allen has been on him. What was it? Who's the other guy? 95 hit him real hard. Trayvon Walker. I just saw Trayvon Walker on a highlight get after the quarterback. So this defensive line, and this is the way they've got to play more often and more consistently, the Jaguars defensive line. So number 10 got banged up late in the second quarter, but he's back in the game now, and that's Herbert, who's been so hot. Passes intercepted. Number 26 has got it. He's coming the other way. The Jags got an apple turnover. He's at the 20, the 15. Oh, man. How about that? That was number 26. Number 26 with that big time interception for the Jaguars. And the Jaguars trying to put this thing away. Herbert throws an interception. And was that my guy that made the interception? That was AJ. It was Antonio Johnson. 5th round pick a couple of years ago out of Texas A&M, one of my favorite Jacksonville Jaguars. I love their defensive backs. And, man, he was right behind the wide receiver. The ball went slightly over the wide receiver's head, and A.J. timed that play perfectly. He timed that play perfectly. That's number 26. Number 26, A.J. Antonio Johnson. That was Antonio Johnson got the pick. And this is how you play the game. You keep the pressure on the quarterback, right? Jags got the ball back again. We've got an incomplete pass, it looks like, on that first play back. Antonio Johnson, number 26. He's actually been in the NFL. This is his 3rd year now. 6'2", 198 pounds, played at Texas A&M when Balky, the former GM, drafted him. A lot of people said, and I was in there with Antonio Johnson. He looked like a steal in the 5th round. Very good interception. He timed the ball, kept his eye on it, made the catch, and that's a big-time play in the 4th quarter. Jaguars moving it on 2nd down and 10. I think ETN's got a first down. He goes near the pylon. Did he score? I think one of the officials is saying he scored. Did he score? Did ETN score his 2nd touchdown of the game? I got to watch the highlight again. I think ETN just scored. My goodness. Wow. ETN, hit the pylon at the finish of the run. Are they going to say he was down before he hit the pylon? No, I think they're going to give him that. I think that's a touchdown. And my goodness, if that's a touchdown, the Jags, hey, I want to say hello to our contributor and correspondent, John Gaylor. John, we kicked this extra point. That's 35 points. Didn't you say you were going to take me over to the steakhouse if we could score 35 points this year? Okay, I'm in a lot better mood this week. Cam Little puts it up and good. Toe meets leather. Cam Little puts the extra point in. That's all you need. Kick the extra point. It's 35-6 Jaguars. Antonio Johnson, what a big-time interception he made for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Plays safety, 3rd year guy. He's in his 3rd year now. And seems like he's only been here a couple of years, but now he's into his 3rd year, according to what I just read on the information about Antonio Johnson. I call him AJ. Big interception for AJ. Jaguars got a big lead now. I cannot hardly keep up with the scores. You know what I mean? I cannot hardly keep up with the scores here. Jaguars are up 35-6. They made the extra point. We've had people coming in and out on our live stream. We appreciate you guys being here. It is a 4th quarter. Jags are going to win this game today. When we scored and we got up 29-10, I think I messaged Gaylor. I said, "Man, we got this win." Boy, that was a little too soon. But last week, all of a sudden, the 4th quarter hit and the Jags were 3 and out all throughout the 4th quarter in Houston, and somehow the Jags lost that game. Thank goodness the Jaguars have really kind of put that game behind them, and they've done the things they needed to do, including to win the 4th quarter like they're doing so far in this game. And we'll put the latest score on the screen. Jacksonville Jaguars, how sweet it is. The Jacksonville Jaguars 35. The LA Chargers 6 in the 4th quarter. Now, this game right here is going to have ripple effects across the NFL. When they put the score up and it says Jacksonville Jaguars 35, the LA Chargers 6 in the 4th quarter, this is what this team is capable of doing. If we get the effort by the defensive line, we get good play from the offensive line, Trevor can protect the football and make some good passes, the Jaguars can win. Maybe not every game, but they're winning today. They were winning last week and somehow blew that 29-10 lead to Houston and lost last week to the Houston Texans 35-29 in Houston. But the fans excited at home. And the Jaguars got the lead. This is going to have ripple effects across the National Football League. We're brought to you by the Mad Max Mix.weebly.com. Check out Mad Max's show on Wednesday nights. Man, you'll be glad you did. Check him out. He plays a lot of great music, man. I've heard Max play Steely Dan for me, the Atlanta Rhythm section. Plays a lot of Leonard Skinner, George Harrison. Check out the Mad Max Mix.weebly.com. On Wednesday night, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock Eastern Time at the Mad Max Mix.weebly.com. We have links to Mad Max's show on Wednesday nights on our website in the Neighbors 2 section at BigJReport.com and also in the Outside the Box section. Jacksonville Jaguars with a 35-6 lead here in the 4th quarter with about 11 minutes and 2 seconds to go. And Anthony Campanelli, the defense coordinator, he's walking up and down those sidelines like a prized rooster because he's got the lead this week and his defense is playing better and they're getting pressure on the quarterback. Prized rooster. Anthony Campanelli, the defensive coordinator. I just saw a tackle by Mason. Who's that? Mason Smith, the second year guy out of LSU, right? Mason Smith playing defensive tackle. You get the effort. You get these guys playing hard, physically, and aggressive football. Gang tackling. That's what you got to have. The pressure's coming again. The ball is on the turf. I think it's going to be an incomplete pass. So, but now the Jaguars are saying they might have got a fumble. They're going to give it to the officials. The guy in the striped shirt, number 4, with the white hat, is going to give it to the Jaguars. Devin Lloyd's in the game, but who got that fumble? Was it 98? Trey Lance is actually in the game now for the Chargers. So apparently, I think they look at that. You know what? I think they're going to look at that highlight, and I think it's going to be an incomplete pass. DeJuan Smoot grabbed the fumble, number 98. But I'm sure they're going to review it. Trey Lance is in the game, the backup quarterback, and apparently Herbert is not 100%. He's hurt enough to go back out. But you got to pressure these quarterbacks. That's the only way you're going to take them off their game. That's what it comes down to. It's a violent game. It's a violent game. Pro football, college football. It's a violent game. Trey Lance is in there. He got hit. I don't know. It looked like he kind of dropped the ball, but the hand was going forward. Let's see what the officials, let's see what they call. Let's see if the Chargers keep the ball. I think the Chargers are keeping the ball here. I think they're going to call it an incomplete pass. I really do. We'll try to pull some more scores up here. Jaguars leading the Chargers 35-6. What do they used to call them? The San Diego Superchargers. They were actually in Los Angeles, I believe, when they were an AFL team as the Los Angeles Chargers. Here's a pass across the middle. It's deflected. Number 25 got a hand on it. Andrew Wingard was in there in coverage too, and the Jaguars, my friends, are playing good and inspired football. We've seen what I've watched of this game, and I've seen most of it. I see more of a, I'm seeing more effort. I'm seeing more urgency by this defense. And Liam Cohen, he's even cracked a smile on the sidelines now. Pull up some scores. Chargers, Miami's leading Washington. Well, that's a final score. Miami Dolphins 16, Washington Commanders 13. That was much earlier today. Trey Lance throws a little short pass out. There's Antonio Johnson to make that tackle. AJ Antonio Johnson. 5th round guy out of Texas A&M in his 3rd year with the Jaguars, one of my favorite guys. And you know what's happening now? The Jaguars are going to get off the field. They've stopped the LA Chargers. Jacksonville Jaguars 35, LA Chargers 6. Here in the 4th quarter with about 10 minutes, 22 seconds to go. I see Herbert, number 10, on the sideline, so he's not in the locker room. That's a good sign. But maybe he's banged up, and maybe Jim Harbaugh says, man, this game is out of reach. Maybe Harbaugh's waving the white flag and saying we're going to put Trey Lance in the game. Buffalo Bills, our executive producer, loves the Buffalo Bills. I think the Jaguars are his second favorite team, but the Buffalo Bills, he's been a Buffalo Bill fan long before the Jaguars started playing regular season games in 1995. Buffalo Bills 31, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26. That's in the 3rd quarter, late in the 3rd quarter. Atlanta Falcons got a 2-point lead over Carolina in the 4th quarter. Early in the 4th quarter, the Atlanta Falcons 21, the Carolina Panthers 19. Jacksonville Jaguars 35, the LA Chargers 6. What about the Chicago Bears? Chicago Bears 16, Minnesota Vikings 3. Ben Johnson's got that team, even though I think Chicago started at 0-2 this year. They've been playing really good football, and they're starting to rack up some wins now. And they're winning today 16-3 over Minnesota, that game in the 4th quarter. New York Giants 13, Green Bay 10. The Giants just fired their coach last week, Dabo. Could Lane Kiffin, could he be a candidate to be the head coach of the New York Giants? I heard rumors the Dolphins might want to hire Kiffin, make him a GM coach, but it's been a long time since he coached in the NFL. But a lot of people say Lane Kiffin is good at putting a roster together, so maybe. There's openings. There's openings at LSU, openings at Florida. I've never seen anything like this. It's been many, many years since we've seen this many openings for head football coaches in college football. Give me your opinion. Where will Lane Kiffin go, or will he stay at Ole Miss? But there's openings at LSU, Florida, Auburn, New York Giants, Miami Dolphins. I think have shown some whispering interest in Lane Kiffin as maybe a coach / GM, or he could go back to Ole Miss. He's going to have about 6 alternate opportunities as far as Lane Kiffin goes. Jaguars, my goodness, with a huge lead. We got the score up there on our YouTube channel. Jacksonville Jaguars 35, the LA Chargers 6 in the fourth quarter. And the Jaguars have played well in the fourth quarter. And you know what? They got the ball back. 10:22 to play in the fourth quarter. Still a good amount of time, but the Jags with a 35-6 lead this week. Jaguars keeping it on the ground for a couple of yards on that last play with ETN. So Brayshaw Tootin has played well. ETN is playing well. Trevor Lawrence. Now, you take a guy like Trevor Lawrence, he's got a lead. He's going to play with more confidence because, quite frankly, I've seen Trevor, because of so many things going around him. The offensive line breaking down. Wide receivers dropping passes. The offensive line maybe missing a block or two. And Trevor, kind of a natural thing, kind of panicked a little bit. I mean, when things, you got to think about it in your life. When things aren't always going well, it's not always easy. There's ETN for a half a yard. Jaguars keep it on the ground, but man, I'd be a lot more comfortable if the Jaguars scored another touchdown. But hey, we got a 35-6 lead in Jacksonville at EverBank Stadium. We'll keep an eye on the NFL scores. Chicago Bear. I like to say Chicago Bear. Chicago Bears 16, Minnesota Vikings 10. Looks like Minnesota just scored. Chicago Bears 16, Minnesota Vikings 10 in the fourth quarter. Houston's got a lead over Tennessee. Tennessee's terrible. And I don't think Houston's much better. Houston 13, Tennessee 6. That game in the fourth quarter, too. Here's ETN looking for some room. Not much there. He gets hit almost immediately at the line of scrimmage. Might have got a half yard. Jaguars still running the clock, but a fourth down is coming up. And it looks like, are the Jags going to go for it, kick the field goal, and get 3 more points? Oh, I think they're going to go for it. 4th down and 3. My goodness. 35-6 lead. Get the first down. Knock down the first down. You can run some more clock. They're not going to send the field goal kicker out there. It would be, if they kicked it right now, it'd be a 47-yard field goal, which obviously is well in the range of Cam Little, who owns the record for the longest field goal in the National Football League at 68 yards. And he made that kick this season. Trevor Lawrence going to throw a little pass. It's deflected away. That ball might have been fumbled. It goes out of bounds. I don't think it was ever controlled by the Chargers. So now the officials have got to clear things up. Boy, that looked ugly. Trevor got hit. The ball just kind of rolled off the top of his hand. Don't know if they'll call it a pass or a fumble. I think they're going to call it a fumble. I think the Chargers got the football. My goodness, that was a 4th down play, too. I'm looking at it. That was never a pass. The defender came up and hit his arm and the ball. Kept trying to roll the ball with his hand, trying to get control of it. And it looks like the Chargers have the football. But either way, whether the fumble was recovered or not, it was on 4th down, right? Whoa, here we go. So let's hope that this doesn't lead to any problems. So that looked a little iffy on that last drive. But the Jaguars do have a 35-6 lead. Antonio Johnson, big interception. Trevor Lawrence has ran for a touchdown. Brayshaw Tootin ran for a touchdown. ETN took a direct snap and scored a touchdown back in the first half. And then there was a touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence. It was a fake pitch to the right, and he found Trevor Lawrence found Patrick. What's the kid's name? Tim Patrick, a wide receiver for the Jaguars, who's been getting a lot more playing time with Brian Thomas Jr. out. And obviously Travis Hunter been put on IR, and we thought he was going to miss a month of the season. Now we understand he's going to miss the rest of the season. So I want to thank people that have come in here today and checked out our podcast. This is the Teal Shirt Report podcast from bigjreport.com. Check out our website. Give us a thumbs up on our podcast, on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel. We'd be grateful. And thank you for being here. And any comments you got, who will the Florida Gators hire? Who are they going to hire as the head coach? They're going to try to hire Lane Kiffin. We kept hearing these rumors that there might be as much as $87 million raised by the Florida Gators, the high brass, the people with the money. Is that too much for Lane Kiffin? Man, I think it is. I think it is. But how much is too much money, right? For Lane Kiffin? The buyouts at the end, that's the main thing that scares me, because then it makes it a little bit more difficult to hire the next coach. Florida State won their football game, and their coach is going to survive. And and maybe it'd be cheaper to keep him, right? Coach Mike Norvell. Florida State has actually beaten Alabama. They blew out Wake Forest, but they've lost a good many games along the way too. They beat Virginia Tech, I believe it was yesterday, and now all of a sudden the Florida State Seminoles are 5-5. Their season doesn't look quite as bad, and they got a game with the Florida Gators coming up, which will be a big one. Will be an absolute big one. Some guy posted on the X, Dov Clayman, is it too early to say the Jaguars got fleeced? And then there's a big picture of Travis Hunter. He's out for the year. It hadn't been a good rookie season. The last time a guy that, I tell you, the nicest thing I can say about Travis Hunter being injured and out for the year is, I think Chipper Jones, who ended up in the Hall of Fame, missed most of his rookie season. That's why he wasn't the rookie of the year. So we'll take a look. We'll take a look at some scores from college football too. We appreciate you guys tuning in. You can check our concert listing out at bigjreport.com. Scroll the Neighbors 2 section. Also, let's see, got the SEC Power Rankings. If you go to our if you go to our podcast, just go to our podcast and check out the one we did earlier today. That's got the SEC Power Rankings in there. We talk about it on a recorded podcast that was produced a little bit earlier. College football scores, college football from yesterday on Saturday, November the 15th. College football, Ole Miss 34, Florida 24 final. Florida Gators fall to 3-7. Ole Miss improves to 10-1, and perhaps that's a real story, the records of the teams. Florida State 34, Virginia Tech 14. FSU is now 5-5. Coach Mike Norvell is going to survive. He'll be back again next year to coach the Seminoles. I'm pretty darn sure of it. Georgia looking good in their 35-10 win over Texas. Georgia Bulldogs 35, Texas 10. And somehow, some way, Oklahoma pulled out you'd have to consider it an upset, but Oklahoma's had a pretty good season. They beat Alabama, but Alabama, this is their first conference loss. Oklahoma's got like 2 conference losses. And I believe Oklahoma's 4-2 in the conference. You can also check high school football scores when you go to bigjreport.com and scroll the homepage. You'll find high school football scores in the high school football playoffs. We got scores from North Florida, Central Florida, South and Western Georgia, and even a sprinkling of Alabama scores. You follow Alabama got knocked out of the playoffs a little bit over a week ago. SEC Power Rankings, Alabama's 8-2, 6-1 in the SEC. I've got them 4th. I've got Texas A&M number 1, Georgia 2, Ole Miss 3. But these are teams that are very close together, right? Alabama beat Georgia. Georgia beat Ole Miss. Texas A&M's undefeated. Texas A&M's 10-0 and 7-0 in conference play. Number 1, I got Georgia 2, Ole Miss 3, Alabama 4th, Oklahoma 5. Oklahoma beat Alabama by 2 points, 23-21 on Saturday, November the 15th. But there's a big but in there. Alabama's got the same record as Oklahoma, but Alabama's conference record is better. Alabama's 6-1 in the SEC. while Oklahoma is 4-2. Teams on the bubble: Vandy, Texas, Missouri, Tennessee. Those 4 teams kind of on the bubble. So we gave you some college football scores. Jaguars are winning big, even bigger than last week. In this one, last week they had a 19-point lead in Houston and lost it. They got outscored 26-0 in the fourth quarter against the Texans in Houston. But this week it's a bigger lead. Jags at home with about 8 minutes to go now in the fourth quarter. Trey Lance is still in the game, the backup quarterback, and I think he almost went down, got out of the grasp of Smoot, and then rolled out and threw a complete pass down the field to the tight end number 86, I believe. So Trey Lance, it looked like he was going down. Smoot was after him, and he was almost down, but kept backing up, maintained his feet, rolled to the right, and threw a long pass for about 20 yards down the field and completed it. So here come the Chargers. Trey Lance is running the ball. He's being chased down and pushed out of bounds by Andrew Wingert. Well, about 7:23 to go in the fourth quarter. Again, the Jaguars are up 35-6. This is episode show. What are we going to call this one? 64A. Okay. This is a live stream. Of course, after the live stream is over, you can go back and watch this. We got kind of crazy and got kind of excited during this game. Jacksonville Jaguars with a 35-6 lead over the LA Chargers in the fourth quarter. Chargers got the ball. Clock is moving now with about 6:50 to play. And the time is not on the side of the LA Chargers. Little pass by Trey Lance for about 8 yards. Not a big chunk play, but, the Chargers at least moving the ball for them in the right direction. Let's see if our Jaguars defense can get a stop here. We've been going across the NFL, getting scores for you as well. Jaguars with a big 35-6 lead. Trey Lance trying to run for the first down. He got knocked down by Devin Lloyd. Maybe he might be a half yard shy of the first down. Okay, other scores across the NFL. Atlanta Falcons 21, Carolina Panthers 10. That's in the fourth quarter. It looks like it's 21-19. I'm sorry. Atlanta Falcons 21. Let me double check that score. Yeah, the Atlanta Falcons 21, the Carolina Panthers 19. That game is in the fourth quarter. Okay, Tampa Bay's jumped in front of Buffalo now, JC. Close game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32, Buffalo Bills 31, Jacksonville Jaguars 35, LA Chargers 6. I'm watching the monitor now. There's 5.5 minutes to go in the game. Keep that clock running. The Chargers got the ball, though, and Trey Lance is going to try to throw a long one, and it's going to be, it's in and out of the hands. Looked like he dropped it. Braswell on the coverage for the Jaguars. Number 1, the intended receiver. He had it in his hands. It was a good pass, but then it fell out of his hands as he hit the ground. Ball came loose. He didn't maintain the control of the football, so it's an incomplete pass. Atlanta Falcons 21, the Carolina Panthers 19. That game is in the fourth quarter. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, JC. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32, Buffalo Bills 31. Jacksonville Jaguars 35, LA Chargers 6 in the fourth quarter. With about 5:20 to go, Trey Lance is going to wind up and throw another one toward the end zone, but it's overthrown to number 12. Davis was the intended receiver for the LA Chargers. And, man, this is fun. You got the lead. Jacksonville Jaguars fan base, the fans. Man, we got the lead. Sunny day in Jacksonville, too. Coach Jim Harbaugh, man, he's kind of grimacing. Kind of grimacing. Kind of a grimacing fate look on his face. He's getting beat 35-6 here in Jacksonville. There's 5:18 to play in the fourth quarter. Looks like the Giants might get a win today. They're winning 20-19 over Green Bay, fourth quarter. They just fired their coach. Here's an incomplete pass. It was deflected by Andrew Wingert. Andrew's upset that they didn't intercept it. AJ was there again. I think he almost got the ball. But Antonio Johnson got an interception earlier. So we're on the live stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. Atlanta Falcons 21, Carolina Panthers 19, fourth quarter. Buffalo Bills getting beat by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. Tampa Bay 32, Buffalo 31, fourth quarter. And Chicago Bears 16, Minnesota Vikings 10 in the fourth quarter. Some scores from across the National Football League. My Ed White Commanders won their first round playoff game, and there's a big sack. There's a big sack by the Jaguars. Oh, that was Eric Armstead, I believe. I believe that was Armstead. And Anthony's pretty upset, pretty happy. The defensive coordinator for the Jaguars, Anthony Campanelli. He had a big smile on his face. Let me watch this play again. Trey Lance is backing up. He's being chased. Looked like the Charger guy was holding on the offensive line. And oh, there he was. Just kind of rolled on top of him. Eric with an A. Eric Armstead with a sack. Unassisted sack that time. The Jaguars got a 35-6 lead. Campanelli hugging number 21 Braswell, one of his defensive backs, and the Jags got the ball back. Apparently, that was a fourth down play. Jaguars got the ball back at their own 38-yard line. That might have been Tootin that got it's a little pitch. It's not so much of a handoff, but a little pitch backwards now in Liam Cohen's offense. You know, instead of a handoff, he's kind of pitching it straight back to the guy, and it kind of gives maybe the running back a little running start to run into the football. Trevor Lawrence is out of the game. Now they're pulling him out because they got a 35-6 lead. The backup quarterback, Nick Mullins, is now in the game, and the Jacksonville Jaguars with a 35-6 lead. Pittsburgh Steelers are out in front of Cincinnati. Pittsburgh Steelers 20. The Bengals 9. Nick Mullins is in there. He's just going to hand the ball off. I think that was Brayshaw Tootin again, I believe. He's had a big day. He's had some good runs. Or was that not Tootin? Let's see who that was. No, that was Allen. The third string back is in there. What's his name? Quint Allen, I believe. Jaguars with a 35-6 lead. We've been checking the scores. Green Bay's got the football, but they trail the Giants. New York Giants 20, Green Bay 19. With about 4.5 minutes to play in that game. Nick Mullins, a backup quarterback's in there. Trevor's out of the game now. The Jags have this one well in hand with a 35-6 lead. They're going to keep the same running back in the game. He's basically the third string back, ETN, but he plays. He plays on special teams as well, I believe. So ETN's had a good game. ETN has scored a touchdown. Brayshaw Tootin scored a touchdown. There was a touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence to Mr. Patrick in the end zone. Jaguars with a 35-6 lead. Trevor Lawrence also ran for a touchdown in this game as well. So Nick Mullins, a backup quarterback, is in the game. Jaguars going to be content on running the clock out. 2:51 to play. Here's another run up the middle, and I think the Jags got the first down and more. And there's a flag down. Allen, the running back, number 36, ran for a first down, and then there was a late flag all of a sudden. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, I feel confident to say it this week. The Jacksonville Jaguars 35, the LA Chargers 6. Jaguars should easily have this win in the books. We appreciate you guys being with us on the live stream. Go to our website at bigjreport.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up as well. You can see Jacksonville, Florida in the background scene of our YouTube channel, and the big happy score in NFL football, the Jacksonville Jaguars 35, the LA Chargers 6, here in the fourth quarter of our live stream. This is the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Our channel is a Teal Shirt Report podcast from bigjreport.com. Jaguars content on running the clock out on second down. They run the ball again for a couple of yards. Going to be second down and 8. Jacksonville Jaguars are 5-4. They'll improve to 6-4 after this game. Buffalo 6-3, but they're losing by a point to Tampa Bay. LA Chargers are 7-3, having a good year. So The Jaguars are beating a 7-win team today in the National Football League at home. Jim Harbaugh, the coach of the Chargers, kind of taking his medicine on the sidelines. He's looking up at the clock, but this one's long over. And this has to be, I mean, you got a couple of Andrew Wingert, Trevor Lawrence are on the sidelines. They're kind of celebrating. This is a huge win for the team. This will take a lot of pressure off some people. But let me tell you, they got to keep playing like this. The O-line has got to play better like they did today. The defensive line, they've got to get the pressure on the quarterback like they did today with more effort, and we're starting to see that. Again, the Jacksonville Jaguars 35, LA Chargers 6, late in the fourth quarter with the time running down. I believe we're at the 2-minute warning, I believe now. So we'll check some more NFL scores. The other games are getting late too. Tampa Bay 32, Buffalo Bills 31. That game's still in the fourth quarter. See if we can update some things here. Atlanta Falcons 21, Carolina Panthers 19 with about 6 minutes to play. Okay. Again, Tampa Bay still leading Buffalo, but Buffalo's got the ball with about 9 minutes to play. Tampa Bay 32, Buffalo Bills 31. Jacksonville Jaguars 35, the LA Chargers 6. Chicago Bears with a 16-10 lead and about 3.5 minutes to go in that game. Looks like that game's up in Minnesota. Again, Chicago Bears 16, Minnesota Vikings 10. Green Bay's gotten the lead against the Giants. Green Bay's got the ball and a 25-20 lead. That means Green Bay has scored a touchdown. There's only about 4 minutes to go in that game. Pittsburgh is leading Cincinnati. Pittsburgh 20, Cincinnati Bengals 12. It was a game, much earlier today as well. And that was a game over in Europe somewhere. Maybe it was a London game. I'm not really sure, but it was the Miami Dolphins, which you never know what you're going to get with Miami, but the Commanders are not playing well. After making the playoffs last year, they've had a rough year. Their quarterback got hurt, Jalen Daniels, and Miami beat them much earlier today. The Miami Dolphins 16, the Washington Commanders 13, the final score. I'm going to pull that game up now. Game was played in Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. Bernabeu, I believe, in Madrid. They played in Madrid today. Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. The Miami Dolphins won that game. Miami Dolphins 16, Washington Commanders 13. That was the early game. I'm assuming that kicked off like the games normally kick off at 9:30 when the games are over in Europe. Jaguars got the ball back. Nick Mullins is just going to hand it off again. It looks like that's Allen, I believe. The third string back is in there. Nick Mullins getting some playing time, but he's played his share of NFL football over the years. He used to be back up with the 49ers a few years ago. So we'll check the scoreboard. Again, the Miami Dolphins beat the Washington Commanders 16-13. Pittsburgh with a 20-12 lead over the Bengals. Looks like Green Bay must have just added an extra point. They lead the New York Giants 27-20. Chicago Bears 16, Minnesota Vikings 10. So we're giving you some scores on the way home today. However you're watching us on your phone, laptop, computer, etc. Jacksonville Jaguars running the clock with about 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in the football game. Liam Cohen, a big smile on his face on the sidelines. And I see Patrick's wide receiver who caught the touchdown pass from Trevor on the fake pitch, and then Trevor just hit him in the back of the end zone. Oh, I think Buffalo just scored. How about those Buffalo Bills, Brother JC? They just scored a touchdown. Buffalo Bills just scored a touchdown and went in front of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just saw the highlight. It looks like Buffalo just scored a touchdown, so they should have the lead now. We'll check all the scores here in a minute. Nick Mullins going to hand the ball off. Oh, Allen's got another first down. Number 36 takes it down to near the LA Chargers 10-yard line. And the Jaguars now are going to have an opportunity to completely run out the clock, milk the clock with a 35-6 lead. Okay, so we'll go back to the Buffalo Bills have grabbed the lead now. By the way, the Atlanta Falcons lead Carolina 21-19, and now the clock is gonna run out. Double zeros on the clock. The Jaguars have absolutely run the clock out. They really have. So now we got to put final by the score. It's a final score for the Jaguars. Big win for the Jaguars today on Sunday. Man, on Sunday, November the 16th, the Jags win. Man, how about that? Jaguars are now 6-4 on the season. They get a huge win. And now all of a sudden in the monitor, I got the Buffalo Bills game. Buffalo's leading Tampa Bay. Buffalo Bills 37, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32. Jacksonville Jaguars, my hometown team. I'm originally from Jacksonville, was born here. So were a lot of those guys from Leonard Skinner from the west side of Jacksonville. Those West Siders, as Mad Max knows we call them. MadMaxMix.weebly.com. Check out Mad Max Wednesday nights. That's right, Wednesday nights, the MadMaxMix.weebly.com, 6 to 8 Central Time, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock Eastern Time, the Mad Max Mix. And Mad Max will play your request, whether it's Steely Dan, Atlanta Rhythm Section. Man, I've heard Max play so many great songs and groups at Atlanta Rhythm Section. George Harrison, Joe Jackson, Stepping Out, one of his sign-off tunes from a while back. So we'll get the score up there. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now 6-4 on the season. And I mean, this was a huge win for the Jaguars. Let's get it back up on the screen there. Just trying to get it back up on the screen. There we go. NFL football, Jacksonville Jaguars 35, LA Chargers 6, a final score today on Sunday, November the 16th of 2025. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now 6-4 on the season. All of a sudden now my monitors switched to the Buffalo Bills game. We're at World Headquarters. We really got a 50-yard line seat here at World Headquarters. Buffalo Bills have just scored a touchdown as of a couple of minutes ago, and they got the lead. Buffalo Bills 37, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32 in the fourth quarter with about 7.5 minutes to go. Buffalo's on defense now. I want to say a special hello to our executive producer, JC, big Buffalo Bills fan. Make sure there's an incomplete pass by Tampa Bay, but remember to check out JC, another one of our sponsors, LakeUFallahits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. Check out JC live from the pub on Thursday nights, starting at 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Check out JC live from the pub at LakeUFallahits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. JC has a chat box on the website for the internet radio show where you can actually chat him your request. Mad Max on Wednesday nights will give you his phone number where you can call him, or probably better yet, text him your request. So check out Mad Max and the Mad Max Mix on Wednesday nights. JC live from the pub on Thursday nights. Both shows get underway about 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. The MadMaxMix.weebly.com on Wednesday nights, and JC's show live from the pub on Thursday nights at LakeUFallahits.com. Great internet radio where it's absolutely all good. We appreciate you tuning in to the live stream today. Again, we're brought to you by Saucer Realty and Capital, the MadMaxMix.weebly.com, and LakeUFallahits.com. Great internet radio where JC has his show live from the pub on Thursday nights. JC, we're live. And I want to say hello to my executive producer doing such a great job. I want to say hello to Alex Nunnery. Alex Nunnery, hope you're doing well. One of our producers, and John Gaylor. It's a happy day for the Jaguars with a 35-6 win at home at Everbank Stadium. Now I've got my eyes peeled on the Buffalo Bills game. Buffalo Bills 37, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32 in the fourth quarter with 6:55 to play in the fourth quarter. And we may not know. We may not know where Lane Kiffin will go. And we may not know till late in the season, like the last week in November, perhaps. So we don't know where Lane Kiffin will go. The Florida Gators are looking for a new head coach. LSU is looking for a new head coach. So was Auburn. South Carolina had a big lead, and Mad Max had texted me this morning, and they had South Carolina had a big lead over Texas A&M, and they lost that lead. And lo and behold, I think the South Carolina coach got fired late last night or early this morning as well. Football is momentum and emotions. And it's a long shot, but Kerwin Bell at Western Carolina, man, I would love it if he was the head coach at Florida. Lane's got, 4 or 5, 6 different opportunities. He's going to get big money wherever he decides to go. He's going to get a big raise at Ole Miss if he decides, hey, I want to stay at Ole Miss. And JC, I'd like you to know that I'm looking at my quarterback right now, Josh Allen. The Buffalo Bills' Josh Allen is on my fantasy football team. My goodness, look at all the points the Buffalo Bills are scoring, kind of like a pinball machine today. Buffalo's got 37 points. Cook's got some yardage receiving and passing today. The running back with Buffalo, number 4, got a pass from Josh Allen on that last play, and Buffalo's got the lead in the ball. Buffalo Bills 37, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32. We're live streaming on the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. We appreciate you guys tuning in to the podcast. We're live streaming right now. You see our logo in the top right-hand corner, the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. We did a podcast earlier today, too, that we talked more about SEC football, North Florida entertainment. The Jacksonville Icemen are 7-5 on the season. I tell you, Josh Allen is pretty accurate. He just hit number 5 out there for about a 3 or 4 yard pass. And Buffalo's hanging on to the ball in the lead. Buffalo Bills 37, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32. In the fourth quarter with exactly 4 minutes to play in the game. Tampa Bay had a lead earlier. Tampa Bay's 6-3. Buffalo's also 6-3. So really a pivotal game for both of these teams. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the LA Chargers 35-6. And now the Jacksonville Jaguars are now 6-4 on the season. We're watching Buffalo and Tampa Bay right now. Buffalo with a 5-point lead in the football. They're still running the football. That was a second down play. And the game's, they're under 3.5 minutes in the Buffalo-Tampa Bay game now. I know in Florida, state of Florida, especially Central Florida, a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans. There's that Baker Mayfield on the sidelines with a little bonnet cap on. They're up in Buffalo. It's a little cold up there, right? Some of the coaches got some of those cold weather hats on too. But there's no snow. The field looks pretty good, actually. Buffalo's got the ball deep in Tampa Bay territory at about the Tampa Bay 30-yard line. And Josh Allen's going to run a little screen pass. It goes for nothing. So you may actually, there's a flag down on the play, though. Somebody might have grabbed a face mask, or let's see what the call is. It could be holding, could be a face mask. Let's see who the flag is against. Tennessee and Houston are tied up 13-13 in the fourth quarter. Miami Dolphins 16, Washington Commanders 13. Pittsburgh is going to win today. Pittsburgh Steelers 27, Cincinnati Bengals 12 in the fourth quarter, to give you a few more scores during our live stream. I think the penalties against Tampa Bay, it may be illegal hands to the face, a face mask, but that should give Buffalo a first down, I believe. Let's watch the play again. Let's see, he grabbed him. Looks like he got him by the face mask. That's going to be a first down. It's going to be some yardage the other way for Buffalo and a first down. That was the guy that caught the screen pass was number 10, Sharon. Is that his name? S-H Arin Sharin made a little catch, but there was nothing there. But the Tampa Bay defender grabbed him by the face mask when he couldn't hold him. Here comes Buffalo running the ball up the middle for about 4 or 5 yards. Clock is running. Buffalo with a 5-point lead and the football. Buffalo Bills 37, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32. Second down coming up. And Buffalo's going to milk this clock. They don't really want to score a touchdown. They just want to kind of milk the clock. There's somebody may have called a timeout. There's 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this game. Buffalo Bills 37, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32. Should we check some other scores? I got a comment from somebody here. Well, that's cool. Somebody's saying hello. Tom Fan, the name Unvictor, says hello. And I'll say hello back to you. Okay, we appreciate it. Hey, comments, give us some comments about the college football coaching situation. Florida Gators need a new coach. LSU needs a new coach. Auburn needs a new coach. South Carolina, I think, fired their coach late last night after blowing a lead against Texas A&M. Tampa Bay 2 penalties for 30 yards. Buffalo 6 penalties for 30. These are two good teams. They haven't been really penalized that much in this game. It's late in the fourth quarter. Looked like they put a couple of seconds back on the clock. 2:42 to play. And Buffalo just wants to milk the clock, or if they score another touchdown. Here comes Josh Allen right up the middle. He's getting close to the end zone. I think Josh Allen's going to score a rushing touchdown. I got my hands in the air. Oh, Josh Allen slams it into the end zone. And that's more fantasy points, executive producer JC. More fantasy points for my fantasy quarterback, Josh Allen. The ball was on the 9-yard line of Tampa Bay. Josh took the shotgun snap and then just looked at the receiver, then took off running to the right a little bit and just pushed it. Just pushed it physically across the goal line and now slams the football into the end zone with a spike, an old-time spike. Oh, man, and Buffalo is going to kick the extra point with a 43-32 lead. Josh Allen, number 17, scores a rushing touchdown, and Buffalo scored like a pinball machine today. Buffalo Bills 44, Tampa Bay 32. And that basically seals the victory with just a couple of minutes to go in this game. So we'll check some more scores. We got some more scores to check. Let's see here. We'll take a look at some more scores across the NFL. Atlanta's leading Carolina 24-19. Miami Dolphins 16, Washington Commanders 13. That game was played in Madrid, actually. How about that, JC? Miami Dolphins 16, Washington Commanders 13, the final on Sunday, November the 16th. That was a very early in the day game, played in Madrid, of all places. Man, the NFL is going everywhere over in Europe, right? So we'll check some more scores. We got more scores to check, of course. Pittsburgh is going to win. Pittsburgh is up. It looks like Pittsburgh Steelers 34, Cincinnati Bengals 12. In the fourth quarter, Buffalo has just put a double 44 on Tampa Bay. Buffalo Bills 44. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32. Let's see if we have some more scores. Got to be some finals by now. We know the Jacksonville Jaguars won their game 35-6. Jacksonville Jaguars 35, LA Chargers 6. The final score. Buffalo is going to win today. The Thursday night game was New England 27, the New York Jets 14. And you're getting a lot of your NFL scores right here on this live stream. And after we get off the live stream, most anybody that would like to can come back and watch. Give us your comments about football, the college football coaching vacancies. High school football, my Ed White Commanders are still playing in the playoffs. Ed White 41, Pine Forest 20 on Friday night, November the 14th at the real Commander Stadium at Ed White. Ed White Commanders with a 41-20. Ed White Commanders with a 41-20 victory over Pine Forest. Jacksonville Jaguars with a huge win, 35-6 over the Chargers. It looks like right now that the Houston Texans, my goodness, Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans are tied 13-13 with about 19 seconds to go in the game. And it looks like Houston has the ball. Clock is winding down. Looks like there's 2 seconds to go in that game now. Could that be an overtime, or maybe is Houston in field goal range? We'll find out as we continue to check the scoreboard. Tampa Bay's got the ball back, but they're trailing by 12 points now. And I'm assuming that was Mayfield throwing that last pass. And Buffalo's playing some pretty good defense, but they did give up 32 points today. Chicago Bears kick a field goal. And it looks like they're going to beat the Vikings as the clock runs out. Chicago Bears 19, Minnesota Vikings 17. That looks like the final score. Chicago Bears, coached by Ben Johnson, who was the offensive coordinator with the Detroit Lions last year. 2.5 minutes to play. Buffalo's got a 44-32 lead. And Buffalo bats the ball down. Buffalo's playing pretty inspired football right now. And they got the lead 44-32. The quarterback is number 6 for Tampa Bay. That's Mayfield, right? And I've got Mayfield on one of my fantasy teams, but Josh Allen on the big league, JC, the Teal Shirt Report podcast fantasy football league. I've got Josh Allen, and I think he's put up some pretty big time points today in fantasy football. That's Baker Mayfield, number 6, right? He's going to try to throw a pass. He completes it out to the big tight end around midfield, but this maybe too little too late. Green Bay beats the New York Giants. Green Bay 27, New York Giants 20. The final, Chicago Bears kick a field goal to beat Minnesota. Chicago Bears 19, Minnesota Vikings 17. The final score. Buffalo's got 10. There's a long pass by Baker Mayfield. I'm watching it as it goes into the end zone, but it was overthrown. Mayfield is out there. Looks like he's gone the whole way in this one at quarterback. You never know when somebody's going to get hurt. I mean, Herbert, the quarterback with the Chargers, got hurt. He came back in the second half. But then when the score got out of hand, then maybe that's why he went out. Trey Lance did come in for the LA Chargers. So Buffalo's just about got this thing wrapped up. And my goodness, Houston must be living right, because it looked like Houston kicked a field goal at the very end of the game to win. Houston Texans 16, the Tennessee Titans 13. So, and this game was at Tennessee too. Was in Nashville. Houston kicks a field goal at the end to win that game. So Houston wins another game. They beat the Jaguars in Houston last week. They beat the Titans in Tennessee this week. A couple of division wins back-to-back. Houston Texans 16, the Tennessee Titans 13. The final score, Buffalo Bills 44, Tampa Bay 32. Green Bay, that game is over with now, right? Let me take a look at that. Green Bay has beaten the Giants. I think we mentioned that a moment ago. Green Bay outscored the Giants in the fourth quarter, 8-7, it looks like. Pretty good game, though. Close game. The Green Bay Packers 27, the New York Giants 20. There's an opening with the Giants. Man, Lane Kiffin and his representatives, I should say, not so much Lane Kiffin, but he's part of it. But his representatives, they're going to be to play one entity, one team, one franchise against the other, because he's the hot candidate out there right now. Lane Kiffin has won at Ole Miss. He's won like 50 games, I think, in the last 5 years. So he's averaging close to 10 wins each season. I think right at 10 wins. I will say this. It looked like Ole Miss lost a good many players last year, so the team seemed to be younger and less experienced. So that would tell me that Lane Kiffin has done really probably an extra good job with this team. Ole Miss is now 10-1 on the season and 6-1 in the SEC. Jacksonville Jaguars with a 35-6 lead Over the LA Chargers, you can check out high school football scores at bigjreport.com. Scroll our website. You'll find high school football scores for North Florida, South Georgia, Western Georgia. We've even got some scores up from that corner pocket, southeast Alabama pocket, that southeast Alabama, that southeast pocket of southeast Alabama. That's what I'm trying to say. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're watching the end of the Bucks game on our monitor. Buffalo's got a 44-32 lead over Tampa Bay. And I think Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield, they've just about run out of time. They're trailing by 12 points. Penalty flag on the field. Looks like a roughing of the passer, I believe. I'm looking at the highlight now. Mayfield cut it loose, and then looked like the Buffalo player just easily kind of rolled up on his knee, and then Baker turned to the official, and then the flag came out. That was Brother Bosa. Was that Brother Bosa, 97 for Buffalo? They got that penalty. Buffalo's got this game, though. Buffalo's got a 12-point lead, minute 52 to play, but never say never, right? Baker Mayfield, man, he's kind of a riverboat gambler the way he plays. He's going to put the ball up in the air. But Tampa Bay's quarterback is Baker Mayfield. Let me make sure I let you know he is the Tampa Bay quarterback. He just fumbled the ball. He got hit by a couple of Buffalo Bills, and they just recovered a fumble. That's going to put an end to the Buffalo Bills. I've seen some guy out there in the crowd in Buffalo. He's wearing a big old moose head or big old buffalo head on his head. He must be part of that crazy the Buffalo Bills mafia up there in Buffalo. I know this is going to make our executive producer extremely happy. The Buffalo Bills are beating Tampa Bay in Buffalo. It's the Buffalo Bills 44, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32. Mayfield got hit. He fumbled the ball, and now Buffalo got the fumble back, and they, Josh Allen and the boys can just run out the clock. I'll be very happy to take a look at my fantasy football points here in a few minutes after we close up the broadcast or the podcast here. You're tuned in to our channel, the Teal Shirt Report podcast from bigjreport.com. Subscribe to the channel if you would. Give us some comments about the coaching vacancies. Florida's going to have to hire a new coach. Who will it be? Will it be Lane Kiffin? Well, LSU tried. They're all going to try to hire Lane Kiffin, right? And Ole Miss wants to keep him. The Ole Miss fans were chanting, "We want Lane. We want Lane." And then somewhere after the game, Lane said, "Man, I love Ole Miss." Don't mean he's going to stay at Ole Miss, though. This is his chance to probably maximize the money with all the openings out there. His representatives can play one against the other. LSU's got an opening. Florida's got an opening. Even Auburn's got an opening. South Carolina's got an opening now because their coach or their team, the coach and the team, they blew a big lead against Texas A&M. Mad Max sent me a text about that. I didn't realize it was such a big lead they blew, but it was. Buffalo's going to run the clock out now with Josh Allen handing it off to the running back. There's about a minute and a half to play in the game. 1:34 actually, and the Bills got a third down coming up. But the Buffalo Bills have a 44-32 lead in Buffalo. Jacksonville Jaguars have won their game in NFL football. The Jacksonville Jaguars 35, the LA Chargers 6. The final score. Congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars getting that 6th win of the year after the debacle last week in Houston, where the Jaguars blew a 19-point lead. But this week they win, got a big lead and still win. They hung on. The offense put the game away. That's what you have to do. And Liam Cohen, the head coach of the Jaguars, was all smiles after that game. Jacksonville Jaguars 35, the LA Chargers 6, the final score on Sunday, November the 16th of 2025. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now 6-4 on the season. We ran down some of the college football scores that we had from Saturday for you. Let me see if I can hit some of those scores again. If you missed any of the scores, Ole Miss did beat Florida. Ole Miss 34, the Florida Gators 24. I usually post a few scores on on Twitter, which is now known as the X, of course. Let's pull up some scores. College football, Ole Miss 34, the Florida Gators 24. A final, Florida falls to 3-7. Ole Miss improves to 10-1, and perhaps that's the real story, the records of the teams. Florida State got a big win over Virginia Tech. Florida State beat Alabama way back in the first weekend of the season. Florida State's had some losses in between, and their team is now 5-5, and it looks like Coach Mike Norvell, with the way things have gone. Plus, you got to buy a guy out if you fire him. I think Norvell's gonna stay for another year. He's going to stay for another year. Florida State Seminoles 34, Virginia Tech 14. The final. FSU is now 5-5. Georgia beat Texas. Georgia 35, Texas 10. A final. Somehow Oklahoma beat Alabama. Oklahoma 23, Alabama 21. A final. And Texas A&M came from way behind to beat South Carolina. We understand the Gamecocks fired their coach late last night after the game or early this morning. Texas A&M 31, South Carolina 30. The final score. Buffalo is punting as we're watching the monitor here. They down the ball with like 38 seconds to play. And this thing's going to end. Buffalo is going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield's going to go out there to throw a few more passes unless they put the backup in. But Buffalo's got this thing. They got a 12-point lead. Buffalo Bills 44, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32. Buffalo's in a very jovial mood on the sidelines, executive producer JC. Want to thank our executive producer JC, also Alex Nunnery. Alex does high school football reports on our channel too. So make sure you check out Alex Nunnery and his high school football reports. How about Ed White? They won their first round playoff game over Pine Forest, 41-20, I believe it was. I better pull that score up to make sure I'm correct on that. That was about the score, though. I'm going to pull that back up. Reigns Vikings, probably the best team in Jacksonville. Okay, so the Buffalo Bills win this game 44-32. Buffalo's in second place in the division. They trail New England. New England's 9-2. Buffalo is 7-3. That's going to do it for our live stream on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I really appreciate you guys tuning in to the Teal Shirt Report podcast. You guys have a great day. This has been episode show number 64A. We had the regular 64 much earlier today, and now this has been episode show number 64A, actually. You guys have a great day. I want to thank our producer, our executive producer, JC. Also, Alex Nunnery and John Gaylor. Thank you for all the contributing and corresponding, helping us out with the podcast, and our website at bigjreport.com. Jacksonville Jaguars win NFL football. The Jacksonville Jaguars with a 35-6 win over the LA Chargers. Jacksonville Jaguars 35, the LA Chargers 6, a final on Sunday, November the 16th of 2025. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now 6-4 on the season. You guys have a great day. Thank you for watching. And, of course, thank you for listening. Have a great day. Thank you.